Oh man, coding is so boring. I've been doing this for 18 hours in a row, typing away, and I still haven't got anything done. I guess I should finish my 9th cup of coffee. Is what I would have said if coding is that boring. Following every stereotype on the internet about software development, how long it takes and how boring it is not a good idea, because it often false portrayals of what coding, software development, making apps is like. So in this video, I'm going to show you what making iOS apps is like and how developers cope with, certain issues they may encounter. Along with the misconception that programming of all sorts, not just iOS apps, is just sitting around 9 to 12 hours a day, typing relentlessly and drinking, 10 cups of coffee, is very wrong. It couldn't be further from the truth. You do have the occasional time where you will need to sit down for a very long time and just code, but that is absolutely not what programming in general is about, because there's so much more to programming. A lot of misconceptions that come across is that it's expensive, it's very time consuming, all those kind of things, but it's really not the case. It's time consuming if you want to make it time consuming, if you understand what I'm saying. You don't have to spend 9 hours a day doing it. You could even spend 1 to 2 hours a day and get quite a lot done, but it's inexperience that causes these issues. Cost isn't very expensive. You just need a $99 developer's fee, and that's it. You don't pay every year, you only pay it every year if you want to develop an app every year. If you pay $99 and you have an app on the App Store, you don't need to pay again. For 20, 30, 50 years, you don't need to pay that fee again because your app's already on there. Developing is very interesting. There's so many facets to designing an iOS app specifically. You've got the designing, you've got the planning, you've obviously got the coding, you've got to worry about storyboarding, all that kind of stuff. It's very, very fun, and they cover a lot of different tasks. If you're creative, you obviously like the design and storyboarding. If not so much, you're gonna like the coding. It all plays together and, plays to different strengths. I really do love Xcode for iOS development. That is probably the best IDE out there, in my opinion. It's just so easy to use. The storyboard layout is amazing. It's so clean. You can see real-time changes. You can see where a button links to what. You don't even have to code that part in most of the time. The arguments about which one's better, but that's irrelevant. There's so much you can do on there just from a design perspective, which I think is phenomenal. Even the coding, when you code, it's got errors. It shows you can improve this, but it's not dramatic. It's got dramatic errors that won't let the code run. It shows you where the code is. It tells you what the name of the error is. It shows you even on the design layout, this is where the error is happening. It's just amazing in my opinion. Developing iOS apps is definitely a fun thing to do. It is a bit complicated getting a finished app onto the App Store, which is one thing that I found annoying at the time. It took me like over a month to get my second app on the App Store. But I think that's the most complicated part, to be honest. There's so many resources on a programmer's favorite website, aka Stack Overflow, and obviously on GitHub, but I prefer Stack Overflow. I asked so many questions on Stack Overflow, and the responses are good as long as you ask good questions, because there are ways of asking questions that can get you help or can get you banned. So make sure you ask questions correctly. On GitHub, you just get code really. If you see, you can just search what you want. You just take code from there, take code from Stack Overflow, merge them together into your own thing, add your own thing to make it unique. It's all fun finding solutions to things you don't know about, finding a way to make something you didn't know before. And that's why I think iOS app development has such a stigma is a very strong word for something to do with iOS development. It has such a bad connotation with, complexity, time-consuming stuff, and, cost. But all that, I think, should be thrown out the window when talking about this. If you do have any questions or what I've talked about that I haven't mentioned, just comment down below. I'm sure there's many things I haven't mentioned that you may have questions to. So let me know. because I'll try and answer your questions as best as possible. If you want to see the games I've developed and the videos corresponding to them, links down below as well. You know, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and until next time, bye.